This week on a special 1044, we're talking to truckers at the Kinley 95 East Coast Jamboree Truck Show.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the 1044, a weekly webisode from the editors here at CCJ. I'm Jason Cannon, and my co-host on the other side is Matt Cole. This week, Matt is talking to the men and women on the street, or behind the wheel, I guess, for a first-hand temperature check on the industry, or as Jerry Seinfeld might say, so what's the deal with trucking?
Yeah, so, I know the last 14 months have been a struggle for many people, and I know how different things have been for me personally, but I wasn't in a cab. I wasn't worrying about trying to find a place to eat, stop and use the restroom, or having to interact with customers who may have been afraid to get closer than 6 feet away from me. So I was curious, what was it like out on the road during the pandemic? How is it different than when everything was quote-unquote normal? And has it gotten any better?
Grey Goody Trucking out of Monroe, North Carolina. Pull for Reynolds Trucking. They're out of Indian Trail, North Carolina.
What kind of stuff do y'all haul?
We haul sand and rock to concrete plants, mainly. The hard part is, as far as being a truck driver, you can't go in a lot of places because everything is drive-through only or shut down. So on the road, when you leave in the morning, you have to make sure you got everything you need throughout the day because a lot of places are closed. Now with the people are having to close down because they can't find help, and that's put a little struggle on things as far as convenience items. You know what I mean, But other than that, the parts, when you break down, it takes a little longer to get parts because of factories and everything's slow. But like I said, but as far as us and work's going great.
Steve Johnson's the name, Smalls Express, company name. Basically general freight, flatbed, just always chasing money. There was some, as far as food, available, restaurants, things like that. It got tough, but nothing that I couldn't handle. I grew up not necessarily getting dinner every night, so wasn't that hard for me. Business-wise, no, I didn't get hurt at all.
My name is Jeff Walters, J&N Trucking. All I do now, I do a lot of dry freight. That's all I do. Well, you pretty much stayed in your truck. If you had to get something to eat, you went in, got it, come right back to the truck. You didn't stay inside. And I didn't like to get, even when it started to open up a little bit, I didn't go in where there's a lot of people around just because for my own safety and my family's safety. So I stayed out and didn't really go in. What else can you do? You go to your vendors to deliver and you can't go inside, and it's all on your phone. You do it by the phone. They text you or call you, or they drop put your paperwork in the back, and then they throw the paperwork in the back and you leave. So it's been tough. And in the beginning, the money was, the rates were terrible in the beginning, because there just wasn't anything to be done. So now it's starting to come back up and getting better now. There's a lot more loads out there, but a lot less drivers too. A lot of guys said, what, I'm done. I'm not even going to deal with it anymore.
ATRI does a really good job of compiling an annual list of trucking's top concerns. But Matt, since you were boots on the ground, what did the drivers have to say?
Yeah, Jason, ATRI's list that came out last October found that parking was the top concern from driver respondents, and that pretty much seemed to still be the case today with some of the drivers that I've talked to.
My name's Robert Davis. I drive a 1988 Freightliner FLC 120. I live in Vermont, and I mainly haul for Cabot Cheese. Parking and speed safety in the truck stops. A lot of trucks speeding.
Having a little bit longer truck, is parking more of an issue for you?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I have to try to get an end spot where I can get out. Because people like to double park.
First of all, there's nowhere to park half the time, and you go to most truck stops, there's more paid parking than there is regular parking, which they wouldn't have their stuff if we didn't deliver it. And it's kind of cutting off your hand to spite your face, but That's their deal, you know. I just don't go there, you know. I don't. And there's times when you get to a spot where you have to pay for one. It is what it is. You got to have a place to park, and I'm not going to just park anywhere because I don't want my truck and trailer to get hit. So I'll pay the parking.
The trucking in a lot of the regulations and the high fuel prices. I mean, that's everybody's now is having to do the e-log, and I understand, you know, laws are laws, but when you got large companies that are the lobbyists for these places, I mean, for these lot of politicians that are making the regulations, it's really, you know, hurting, you know, puts a hurt on the little man. But we was here before and we'll be here after.
Large companies, new drivers, lack of respect, crybaby truck drivers that blame four-wheelers for truck drivers that screw up, and that's always an easy out for a truck driver. I got cut off. You know what? Man up, take responsibility that you screwed up, and that. Been doing it for 30 years. Do I know it all? No. Do I want to learn every day? Yes. You want to teach me something? I'm going to listen. You know, you might have 6 months experience, and I will listen. You know, open mind. You know, teach me something. But I'm not king of the road. I'm not a super trucker. I'm not an outlaw. Don't title me a professional either. I'm not a professional. You know, I'm not a sports star. I'm not a doctor. I'm a truck driver.
Thanks, Matt. A lot of good work done there, but that's enough of real work right now. Some of us were stuck in the home office and we didn't get to see the really cool trucks. So jump in with some of those really cool flashy rides. And that's it for this week's 1044. You can read more about drivers' thoughts on the industry on ccjdigital.com and check out more of Matt's photos from the Kinley 95 East Coast Jamboree on overdriveonline.com in the custom rig section. As always, you can find the 1044 each week on CCJ's YouTube channel. And if you've got questions, comments, criticisms, or feedback, hit us up at 1044trucking@gmail.com or give us a call at 404-491-1380. Until next week, everybody stay safe.